Morning, Chief. How are you?
Hey, morning, everybody.
Excellent.
Chief Tom Hackney, Chief of Detectives with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. This is day 2 of our investigation into the abduction of 21-month-old Lonzie Barton. Lonzie was taken night before last at 2 a.m. from a reported auto theft child abduction that happened at 8030 Old Kings Road South. The caregiver, the mother's boyfriend, reported that the child was in a car when the car was stolen. The car was recovered by police about 20 minutes later, 4 blocks away from the original location of the auto theft. Our investigation yesterday has led us to believe that that the caregiver, who is 32-year-old William Eblin, is lying to us and is I can't say the word on television. He is somewhat cooperative with us and was somewhat cooperative with us yesterday, going from the point of being remorseful to self-preservation, talking to us and then stopping, leading us a little ways and then taking that back. We learned yesterday through talking to him by his own admissions that if what is true, he went back into the apartment to do cocaine. That turns him into part of a monster to do that, and if that led to it. We do believe right now, though, that the auto theft abduction that he reported, as he reported it, did not happen. We're still going to work this as a child abduction because, honestly, I don't know what happened to Lonzie. The information that he gives us goes back and forth from one way to the other. I can't say at this point in time whether Lonzie is alive or dead. We're going to work this case with that information and work it as many different ways as we need to recover Lonzie. My hopes, prayers, and thoughts are that we're able to find Lonzie alive, that somewhere along this chain of events that caused Ebron to do whatever he did, whether he intentionally or unintentionally harmed the child, or something happened to the child, or if the child's still alive and fine, we don't know. It's part of the issues and part of what our task is to try to figure out. But I have to work through detectives every bit of that information as it is. So our efforts are to recover Lonzie one way, shape, or form or another, so we will make efforts to do that. We'll continue today with what we started yesterday. We gridded off the area where the reported abduction occurred and where the car occurred, gridded that into several locations. We've got 40 to 50 detectives going out, checking each one of those residences. We made reverse 911 calls to the residents who were out there, hoping that they would check around their house. That's part of what, as we go to each house door to door, we're asking them to look in their house, look around their house, look behind their house. We're assisting them with that. Look, that's time consuming and takes some time to be able to go around to do that. But that will continue as we go on through the day. We've got canine units in large numbers out here. We have cadaver dogs. We have the Sheriff's Office dive team. The air unit will assist us as we see fit and that is necessary. Those efforts will continue all through the day today. As information becomes available, we will provide that to the news media. Last night, Ebron was charged with 2 counts of felony child neglect. Based on what the public records laws are, I'm not able to disclose to you child victims of child neglect. So I can't tell you what 2 children he was charged with neglect over. People aren't stupid. But he is in Duval County Jail right now with 2 felony charges of child neglect, based on his own admissions and evidence that we have at the scene. We've had lots of contact in reference to tips. If the tips can continue to come in. I've also had people ask, what can the public do to help? At this point in time, there's been a lot of interest for citizen involvement to come out and help us with the search. If I had somewhere that I thought that was effective to have citizen volunteers come out, I would welcome that. As it stands now, if somebody happens to know Mr. Ebron, I feel like he may have had some conversations with friends that could lead us there. Our efforts and goals and the efforts and goals of the public should be to recover Lonzie alive or recover Lonzie in one way, shape, or form. If somebody has information on this from Ebron or has information that could help us in any way, shape, or form, please call us. You can remain anonymous. Crime Stoppers allows you to remain anonymous and get a tip. You can call 911. You can call 630-0500. The bottom line is we need the information. If things change throughout the day, media will be posted. We'll have a later afternoon brief of walking through what we've done today and what our efforts will continue to be throughout the weekend. I can handle some questions if anybody
Chief,
has.
you mentioned yesterday that there were credit card transactions, phone records you were looking at. Were you able to track down anybody that he may have been in contact with that night, earlier that morning, that may have given you any information?
Yes, we have, and we continue to do that. Those are some of the investigative efforts that we have. We'll take that information and any information that we can. If that leads us somewhere else to search, we will do that. If that leads us with somebody else to talk to, we'll do that. We'll continue to do that, either from our investigative leads or from tips that come in. So that's what some of our efforts will be today.
Chief, what is he lying to you about? What about his story isn't adding up now?
Well, none of it adds up because I don't have Lonzy back. If he wanted to help, he would. He's the key to this. He knows where Lonzy is, be Lonzy alive or dead. He knows. By him not telling me where that is, not telling detectives where that is, he's lying. And that's the way to successfully resolve that is through him. Our efforts will continue within the law to do that.
Is he a suspect at this time?
I don't know what he's a suspect of. He's where our primary attention is. So, again, part of the issue and part of the problem is I don't know what happened with Lonzy, and there it leads. He's where our attention is going to be focused, and if there is something to be a suspect of, he's going to be it.
Has Lonzy's mother been questioned, and if so, is she being cooperative with police?
Yeah, Lonzy's mother is very cooperative with the police, as is Lonzy's biological father. We don't feel at this point in time that Lonzy's mother or Lonzy's biological father had anything to do with this. It all focuses back to Ebron, and Ebron's cooperation and information to us is what's going to successfully solve this.
Is it solely him, or do you think there could be acquaintances, friends, things like that may have something to do with this?
Great questions. Don't know the answers. Again, without full cooperation from him, we don't know. Our efforts will be to learn that through our own investigative means. That's part of what we'll do today.
So, Chief, to be clear, you no longer believe that this was a carjacking and abduction by a random person. You believe this was a planned situation that he had a role in?
Yes, I do believe that without a doubt, that the report that he gave that his car was taken by some unknown suspect and left by some unknown suspect is a lie and is not true. I'm still going to allow the Amber Alert to stay because if this is an abduction, and I feel like by definition it is, that Ebron is the suspect of that abduction, and it continues to allow focus to remain on that until I recover Lonzy and can move forward, then it's going to stay as it is at.
Chief, I'm going to ask you, a lot of you guys working this search are parents, and dealing with kids is a sensitive topic all the time. How are you guys handling this just from an emotional standpoint?
Police are focused towards the recovery and reuniting of Lonzy with his parent, and our efforts are focused through that, from myself talking to y'all, to the officer who's knocking on the door, to the dive member who's diving the lake, to the K-9 unit who's searching the woods. Our efforts are made towards that. Whatever we carry with us emotionally as either parents or just decent human beings, it helps keep us focused on where we need to be. The fact that you're out here continuing to keep the story going, it's the right thing to do. Our efforts will continue towards that right now.
Chief, yesterday you were looking for a vehicle and asking for the public's help in reference to have they seen that vehicle. Are you still doing that?
I've got the vehicle. If you're talking about the orange car was recovered, but there is a time frame between about 8 p.m. last night and 2:21 when the false auto theft abduction was reported. That car was, we know through some of our investigative means throughout the south side of Jacksonville, if somebody saw that car from the period of 8 p.m. until 2 a.m. Thursday night into Friday morning, I'd like to know that. It's a very distinctive car. The news media has a picture of the car. It's an orange 1995 Honda Civic with a black hood. It's pretty distinctive. If somebody has information about that or could have seen that, we certainly want to know about that.
So Chief, has your search area expanded yesterday? I remember you said something about it was about 4-mile radius. Are you still in Jacksonville, still in that area, or is this more in the state, in Georgia? I mean,
our focus as we know now, again, part of this is what I talked about. I don't really know what happened, so I don't know where exactly to look. Logic says I'm going to start with where it was and move out as necessary, and that will be our efforts to do that. As information comes in, either from the suspect in this case or citizens or other information that we may have, we'll adjust where we're searching based on that, and we'll continue to do just that.
So do you believe Lonzie went missing earlier than about 2:20 a.m. as originally reported?
I hate to say it again, I'm not sure. I know for a fact, based on what the mother said, that the child was seen around 8 p.m. So somewhere between 8 p.m. and 2:21 when he reports to the police his story, in between those time frames, whatever happened with Lonzie is during that time frame.
Chief, what has Lonzie's 5-year-old sister been telling you?
She's cooperative, but she's 5 years old. She has been interviewed at least twice. She for what a 5-year-old can be is very cooperative. But we don't know what she's seen, and we don't know what. She's not given us anything concrete enough to lead us to the recovery of Lonzie. So that's, again, part of the problem, part of the issues that we're dealing with is just the lack of knowledge. We're going to work to fix that.
Was she able to give you anything concrete enough that they were never in the car at the time that he said they were in the car?
Her story kind of went back and forth about whether they were or weren't in the car. There was nothing concrete enough given that helped investigators reach a conclusion.
Does it appear she's been coached on what to tell police?
It's hard to say. She's 5, and 5-year-olds have imaginations, and 5-year-olds, it's just hard to pinpoint exactly from what she's saying anything that's going to directly help us. So as the day progresses and things change, if something changes or anything breaks, I will certainly step back out, give the news media an update. If not, later this afternoon, I can wrap up at least part of what we've done today with y'all later this afternoon. So thank you very much for your
thanks,
cooperation.
Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Melissa.